Alright. What's up, guys? We got another one for you. A little bit of a deck update. Not much has changed. Still the same old BS that I play. Getting into the main deck, we'll go ahead and look at the Despia lineup. So, triple Oliver, mandatory. It's a searcher of the deck for any branded spell or trap, and while he's in grave, fusion monster leaves the field. Target one card, one monster your opponent controls. Negate the effect, summon it. Pretty cool. Ad libitum, so when you use a libitum from hand or field for a fusion material, you can special summon any Despia or level 8 or higher fusion from your grave or banishment, and he does some weird attack manipulation stuff which nobody cares about. One copy of Tragedy, just to be able to either search your extender with ad libitum or try to get your play started with a Luber if you don't see it. Or if you open up with a branded opening in Tragedy, go ahead and get a Luber and a libitum. Don't worry about it later on. Speaking of, triple branded opening, it's pretty much your play starter without having your play starter, because it gets you your play starter by searching or special summoning in defense mode any Despia monster. Branded in red. Yeah, usually this is kind of a safety net card. I've been thinking about putting it up to 2 for combo reasons, but you can target a Despia or Albaz in your grave, add it to hand, and then banish from your hand and field to fusion summon. One copy of Theater, because we love to fuse. We want to get the extra fusion going on, so there's that. And it's also a reoccurring piece for your fusion monsters in grave if a non-fusion fairy monster leaves the field. And then one copy of Banishment to target a level 8 or higher fusion in grave, or Despia, summon it, and then banish from your field or your opponent's field to fusion summon for any level 8 or higher fusion monster. Getting into the Star Pupil lineup here, we got 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, just being able to discard a card and fusion summon whenever it's summoned. One copy of Cartesia, it can special summon itself out with Albaz in the grave, and as a quick effect, you can fusion summon. Plus it adds itself to the hand on the end turn if a fusion goes to grave. Incredible Ecclesia. So you can special summon this only if your opponent has monsters and you don't. You can tribute it off, summon out a sword or Fallen of Albaz. Same thing as Cartesia. Fusion goes to grave, it adds back to hand. Mercurier being able to negate a monster effect if you have a fusion monster with Fallen of Albaz as a material. And if Mercurier gets banished, you can search for Albaz or any monster that mentions it and the name except itself. Albion, Albion's kind of a cool hand fixer in my opinion. I see some profiles around him, I don't really see that many that do, it's kind of hit and miss, but you can send Fallen of Albaz or a branded spell or trap from your deck to the grave to put him on the bottom and draw a card, or if you have him in hand, you can send one of your branded and Albaz stuff from hand to grave to summon him, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we just look at him to fix our hands, really. 3 copies of Brain Dead Fusion, being able to fusion summon a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz by using materials from field, hand, or deck. I almost try to combine all that. 1 copy of Branded Lost, it's your copy of Meltdown for the deck, pretty much, to where when you fusion summon, your opponent can't activate anything to the fusion summon window, and whenever you do fusion summon, you get to search for Fallen of Albaz or any monster that mentions it. And then 1 copy of Branded Retribution, just being able to banish it out of grave to add a branded spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand, or, you know, take a fusion from your field and return it to the extra deck, or take 2 fusions from the grave that mention Albaz, put it back in the extra deck, and then you get to negate special summon effects. This next part is pretty short, so we got Bysteel Rebellion, being able to tribute off a Dark Dragon that's level 6 or higher to summon itself from hand or grave. And then once per turn you can place a branded continuous spell or trap face up on the field. Branded Regain, being able to target a light or dark monster that has been banished this turn, put it on the bottom of the owner's deck, and then you get to draw a card. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you get to take a Bysteel monster from your graveyard and summon it to the field. And then 1 copy of Branded Beast. So as long as you control Bysteel, you can tribute a dragon type and destroy 1 other card on the field, pretty much. And then during your end phase, you get to take a continuous branded spell or trap and place a face up to the field. Going ahead, we'll get into the staples, hand traps, all that stuff going on. So we got Raw's Disciple, perfect pair up for your setup with the new Albion Sacred Fire. Just being able to lock your opponent out of special summoning is going to be funny, and sometimes it helps the deck out. A copy of Gold Sark, just banish off the tragedy so that we can get your plays going that way. Foolish, so you can either, there's multiple uses you can do with Foolish. So you can send Raw Disciple, Bysteel Rebellion, or Tragedy, you know, get your plays going that way. Called by the Grave, because we don't like hand traps, or our opponent bringing stuff out from grave, or tier limits, we hate those guys. 2 Super Poly just to break the boards if things get too problematic, or I can extend a little bit on my opponent's turn, being able to play off of their turn. Triple Cross out, because 1, we hate the mirror match. 2, hand traps in the game right now are going to be ridiculous. So, with this, we're going to be able to play. We just banish a copy, negate the effect, go on about our day. Triple Droll, because we don't want our opponent adding cards from deck to hand, and being able to just keep playing. That's a big no-no. Other than that, it's a really good cross-out target for if our opponent has Droll. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. I was running 1 copy, but I feel like 2 is actually going to be really good for this format, just being able to clear the extra spots on the board. Also, it's a light target, so if you need to, you can use it for fusion material and blah blah blah. And then 1 copy of Ash. I was playing 2, but I took it down to 1 and put Ghost Ogre up to 2. I was liking the 2 Ash, but I just feel like, you know, having the pop is more important over having the negate. And again, really good cross-out target for if our opponent plays Ash when we go to play Branded Fusion. Getting into the extra deck now. We have 1 copy of Albion, the Sacred Fire Dragon. So, if my opponent targets this card with card effect, I can, as a quick effect, target 2 monsters in my graveyard, special summon 1 to each player's side of the field. And if this guy is in the graveyard, if my opponent has something in the middle column and extra monster zone, and I have something in the middle column and extra monster zone, I can tribute off all 4 and bring him back out. Pretty cool reoccurring piece. I got 2 copies of Albion, being able to banish from hand, field, or grave to fuse for level 8 or higher. Pretty freaking cool. We actually play 1 copy of Rebellion. Just discard, put the stuff back to fuse from either field, grave, or banishment. Pretty cool. 2 copies of Mirror Jade, because sometimes 1 copy just isn't enough. And you can banish a card, send a card from your extra deck to the graveyard that mentions Albaz. banish a card, and then if he leaves the field, you get to nuke your opponent's board of all their monsters. Brigand, so I only play Brigand in here as a way to search out Tragedy, because sometimes I want to take my combo and devote it to something else besides grabbing the Mercurier right off the jump, and usually it pays out. Other than that, I've had fun pulling this out on a couple people, and yeah, honestly, sometimes it can just be a game changer with that card. One copy of, how do you say this thing again? Rendbrum. Just so that way I can negate my opponent's monster effects from the extra deck, or I can negate my own, like, for example, Mirror Jade, so that way I can use Mirror Jade again on my opponent's turn. We got one copy of Quaterus, being able to drop the attack points to 0 of any monster that is not a level 8 or higher fusion. And then if he gets, if he leaves the field by my opponent's card effect, I can special summon either Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster. We got a copy of Masquerade, being able to burn my opponent for 600 for every card or effect that they activate. And if he's in the grave, as a quick effect, you get to summon him out. Priscinian, being able to target any Fusion, Synchro, Exe, or Blink monster in my opponent's graveyard. You can either banish it or summon it to your side of the field. And then if this card attacks, well, if this card battles an opponent's monster and destroys it, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to what the difference was in the attack points again, so pretty much you're just attacking your opponent for a flat 32 every time that effect hits. Guardian Chimera, just being able to spot clear by popping 1 or 2 cards and being able to draw 1 or 2 cards. Really good interruption piece for your opponent's turn, or if you're trying to fix your hand, you know, get a couple extra draws so you can go off. Really good going first card in the event that you go second. Super Poly target being, you know, Garura. Garura can do double the battle damage that it inflicts, and if it goes to the graveyard, you get to draw a card. Mud Dragon, again, Super Poly, break the boards, have the answer. Mud Dragon can change its attribute, and your opponent cannot target this card or monsters on the field with the same original attribute of this card. And then drag Sepalio, just so we can have a monster negate, pretty much. Anyway guys, so yeah, that's the profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more, leave a comment down below on what you guys think. And as usual, we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Like and subscribe to Metagame. Hit the bell icon.